The 3rd of December, the Danes are going to be voting another time, the 8th time in all, on a referendum on a European question. This time it's about the Justice and Home Affairs opt-out. What's really interesting this time is that in comparison to previous referendums, that the Danes are in doubt. They don't know what they're going to vote. So close to the actual vote. We're only a week out right now, so we're taping, and there's still 30–40% of voters that simply do not know where they're going to, it's a yes or no. And typically what happens, it has happened in previous referendums, is that as the date for the referendum gets closer, people use their kind of their general EU attitudes as a compass for their views regarding the issue that they're going to be asked to vote on. And so we see typically the number of don't know voters falling quite remarkably in the weeks up to the campaign. That hasn't happened this time, and that's really interesting. And what's actually really interesting, and something which we simply haven't seen before, is that it's not only that they don't know how they're going to vote on this specific proposition, but in comparison to earlier referendums, the Danes actually right now don't know about their general attitudes towards the EU. Danes right now, when you ask them, many will say, I don't even know if the EU is a good thing or a bad thing for Denmark. This is a classic question that they usually can't answer. They can't answer that now, and that tells me that there's in some ways almost an existential crisis regarding Danes and their relationship to the EU. The EU has changed so much in the last 5–6 years. The Euro crisis, the refugee crisis, and where the EU is going is simply unknown, even for EU experts. And so normal voters are in the situation where they don't have this compass anymore, which means that we have 30–40% of the Danish voters. We simply do not know where they're going to go on the 3rd of December. It could be that they just stay home in their sofa because they don't know, and they have a very difficult time. When they don't have the general attitudes, it's a very difficult time finding what their attitude is to the specific proposition. It could also be that they vote no, simply based on the slogan, if you're in doubt, vote no. But the core answer is we simply don't know where the Danes are going to be going on the 3rd of December, which makes it, of course, a very interesting referendum to follow as a researcher, where I'm getting all this survey data in that's really new. Of course, it's maybe not as fun for the politicians that have invested in the yes or no campaign, that it's so unpredictable.